A lot of you know that we just came back from a trip to Peru. We visited the Silverthorns, which many of you know who they are. It was an eye-opener. It was great information we brought back. I am not going to share all of it because that would take all of our Sunday. We are going to show a slideshow, which will be running as we speak. And I'll make it as brief as we can because we have some good food to look forward to. Jeff's been out there cooking for a couple hours now, and I went out there and it looks really good. So I'll make it brief. So a little bit about the community. It's set in Ica, Peru, which is over 1 million people, in a small village called El Carmen. And the area is called San Juan Bautista. It's right in the center of this village, and it's right with the community. They don't come every Sunday and do a service and feed people and then go home to a nice place. They live right there with the people. Their own bedrooms are not extravagant. You could find that kind of dwelling in maybe a hotel, Holiday Inn kind of hotel. It's not extravagant. They give their means are given to the community. They're a great example. They have so much going on there, and my wife's going to help me remember some of these because my memory is not as sharp as it used to be. Hope you can read my writing. Sure.
Okay, I'm just going to tell you what they're doing. They have developed relationships with a couple of different agencies. They work with YWAM, so they have kids from YWAM coming through and doing discipleship programs down there. They have partnered with a group called Gleanings for the Hungry, so they're able to get that's actually an organization here in California, and so they send a lot of food down to La Mision, and they're able to distribute it in the community there. And they've partnered with churches in a lot of the other little villages nearby, so they're distributing the food throughout those villages. They are doing English classes for the children each week. It was the kids' summer while we were there, so I think 3 days a week they were doing English classes for the children at La Mision. And then they also each week there are four or five other little villages right within walking distance of where they are in El Carmen. And so they go and they do an outreach in each of those villages each week with the children there. They have hired a pastor who is from Peru, and so he and his wife are there doing church services every week. They do a Friday night worship at La Mision. Yeah, I can't read your writing.
Where you at?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was just talking.
Okay.
They are helping build the home of the pastor there, and they've done a lot of kind of construction projects throughout the community there with some of the locals, and that's kind of part of their big thing right now. Lawrence is going to talk a little about the rain, but there's several homes there that they want to help with rebuilding. They do have a farm, a small farm that they bought. It's not working yet. They want to get it up and working, and they actually want to build a program to train the locals there in vertical farming. So a lot of them go out and work on other people's farms throughout the day, but they don't have room in their own home to have a garden to grow food for their own family. So they'd like to start a program to train the locals there in vertical farming. And then they also have a property that they're hoping that they can turn into a school. Right now it's just, dirt, but they'd like to build a school there for the local children. You want to talk about the rain and the projects down there?
Sure. Okay, the rain. When you think of Ica, Peru, you don't think of rain. They get about 1 centimeter of rain per year. The week before we got there, they got over 4 centimeters within 24 hours. You would think that's good for a farming community, but that's too much rain at one time, especially when their homes are made of mud. They're made of mud and kind of like straw thatching. A lot of the homes were destroyed. A lot of these homes were lived in by widows with their children. And so they're living in their backyards with makeshift blankets and things that they can salvage because they're afraid the walls are going to continue to cave in. The Silverthorns are reaching out to some of the most devastated homes, and they're trying to rebuild, at least hold up walls.
Holding up a roof in that picture there.
So yeah, they use a tree branch to hold the roof from falling all the way down. They do have workers there. Labor is very cheap, but well, for example, we went to look at the home that they're building for the pastor, and they had to mix the concrete on the ceiling or on the roof and transfer it down a level. They were using makeshift tubes. That's not the word I'm looking for, but a chute, yeah. And they were using siding, tin siding, held up by wire and an old wooden ladder. And these guys were working in sandals. So I don't think OSHA is a big presence there. But they do have people that know how to fix, how to repair. They just are looking for supplies, things like that. But the Silverthorns are into so much, they have so much on their plate. But they even took time. This week they're in Brazil helping out some other missionaries. Like they don't have enough going on. These two are just on fire for the Lord. They're on fire for their communities. They're on fire for South America people. And I'm not going to take any more of your time. So we will be available. We'll be eating that good food as well. If you have any questions, any comments on anything, especially questions, we'll be here to answer them.